Yo, what's good? What's good? It's your man, 100 Grand Ross, where the rock never stops. I want to talk to you all about this topic. You know, there's an era of big men that I think is just sacred. It's sacred. When I look at the 90s, thousands, that era of big men, it's just absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. Nothing but Hall of Fame greats. And then you have, after that, you have this like dying off of the big man. Shortly after Dwight Howard, you have this dying off of the center position of that dominant interior player. And you have the rise of the guard, the Derrick Roses, Russell Westbrooks, John Walls. Then you get into the Stephen Curry shooting era, pace and space, James Harden. And you kind of see the big man era kind of die off. Embiid arrives, but never really quite arrives, despite his MVP season. Never got out the second round, which is kind of a damn shame, right? But then you also have the Nikola Jokic. And in the midst of all that, you got this dude, Anthony Davis. Starts off his career extremely promising, somewhat injury prone, but lightweight, kind of a dominant big man throughout maybe last 15 years. All right, I think he's only been in the league maybe like, what, 12, 13 years. But you know what I'm saying? He's been killing. And a question that I had just randomly just came up today, and I thought I'd talk about it a little bit, is who would you take, Kevin Garnett or Anthony Davis? KG, the big ticket, the kid, versus Anthony Davis, AD. And I think it's a real discussion because Kevin Garnett, I'm gonna be honest, he was a fantastic player. I enjoyed watching him to the max, bro. Like KG for me was almost like hollowed ground. The big ticket, 20, 10, and 5, 2 and 2 each and every night. His intensity, his lead, you just trusted him anywhere he went. But the reality was he had a ceiling. He had a ceiling. You couldn't get past Shaq and them, and not a lot of people could. But he also couldn't get past Tim Duncan. He also couldn't get past, dare I say, Chris Webber and the Sacramento Kings. What's good, Barrett? And the reality is, when you get KG's legacy, if he doesn't get that championship in Boston, I'd be real curious about what KG's legacy is. So then when I'm comparing him to Anthony Davis, I'm looking at Anthony Davis like, I think Anthony Davis tops KG in the rankings, like the all-time greats. Like even if we know AD is still hooping in Dallas, was looking damn good before he got hurt in the playoffs, you got to be thinking to yourself, man, is AD already having a better legacy than Kevin Garnett? Is Anthony Davis already having a better legacy than Kevin Garnett? Now, I know folks are talking about a championship. Yeah, Tim Duncan was definitely hard to get past on the floor. Facts. Facts. I'm about to get into him in a little bit. But when you think about Anthony Davis, you could talk about the bubble all you want. But the reality is he was lightweight. If LeBron wasn't just damn LeBron, he was the finals MVP. Anthony Davis was absolutely monstrous in that series. Remember, throughout that run, he goes through future Hall of Famer, multiple time MVP, who I'm going to get to in a little. Don't like me when I start talking my talk about Nikola Jokic. You already know where I stand on that. But he goes through Nikola Jokic, game winners in the playoffs, and then he goes to the finals, makes Bam Adebayo look so damn small. And they go and they win their first championship of the LeBron Lakers era. Let's just say Kevin Garnett's championship in Boston, I'm not going to call it lackluster, but in comparison, I don't know if it measures up against Anthony Davis's championship in Los Angeles. If I'm keeping it a band with you, being honest, Anthony Davis probably had a greater. But this is where we have a chance to get into the numbers. This is where we have a chance to get into the conversation. So I'm curious, who would you rather have? Who would you have if you had to pick between the two all-time players? Would you rather have Anthony Davis or Kevin Garnett? I'm curious. Let me know in the comment section. Who would you rather run with? Because this is honestly how I do my rankings. How I do my rankings. Look, you can have the accolades, whatever. A lot of that is subjective based upon the context of when you played, right? Based upon when you played, you might stats, AKA Nikola Jokic. But if I line them up, and this is where, because I come from, as much as I played organized ball, I played a lot of street ball, right? And in street ball, organized ball, talent is what talent is. Now you can tell me, a guy is really good. He eats, he does what he does. But when you line him up against other dudes, who are you picking? Who are you picking? If I have to end up Anthony Davis next to Kevin Garnett, I think I'm probably going Anthony Davis. If I'm honest, I've got to go with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis got bigger, stronger. He's probably a little bit longer, 7'5" wingspan. I would say athletic. I would say KG was a little bit more athletic, if I'm honest. A little bit more athletic. A little bit more versatile defensively, but I think Anthony Davis' development of his physical strength on the defensive end gives him just about as much balance and parity for whatever KG was bringing. Both of them monsters on the boards, blocking shots, getting steals, deflections, extremely high IQ on the defensive end. I mean, both we're talking about are all-time greats, right? Probably top. I have Anthony Davis ranked, or at least KG ranked. I want to say I got him ranked. Let me see. I probably got to say I got him ranked at least top 30. Top 30. Let me see. All-time rankings. Where I got it at here. Time. All right, I'll find it. Here we go. No, that's 5. I got mad rankings on here. Player rankings. All right, anyways, I'll find it in a second. I'm curious, where do you have Kevin Garnett all time? Let me know in the comment section where you got him ranked. Because I think we actually do your ranking. It's harder to put some of these dudes as high as maybe your heart wants to put them. Here we go. All right. Kevin Garnett. Damn, I got him at 35. I got him at 35. I got him at 35. I can't put him over Giannis. Can't put him over Patrick Ewing, Barkley, even Dwight. I can't put him over Dwight Howard. I can't do it. Can't do it. So I think if I'm ranking Anthony Davis, I say he's right about there. He's right about at 35. As a matter of fact, you know what? I did have him. I'm looking down at my rankings here. I think I had him at 46. But maybe not. Maybe I got Kevin Garnett too high. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. Because and this is real talk. I think we have to look at some of these players when we talk about the all-time greatest. This is when we're like picking, right? This is when we like splitting hairs and we're, really kind of too low for KG. Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing: is he better than Dwight Howard? Did he ever have a better ceiling than Dwight Howard? Did he have a better ceiling? Did he have a better top end than Giannis? Did KG have a better, at his peak, when he's killing it? Was he ever honest? Yeah, I got AD. I got Anthony Davis at 46. And if I'm honest, probably too low. But it's hard because you got other guys like Carmelo Anthony. You got Dominique Wilkins, James Harden, Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, Steve Nash, Dame. Like when you really look at, yeah, facts. Giannis definitely has a better resume than KG. I think when we really look at some of these players, you look at some of their full breadth of their careers, right? Like, and this I said, like, because if you put KG, well, you said Kevin McHale clears AD, but then you got to look at defense. I'm not gonna act like I was sitting back watching Kevin McHale's highlight primes, and even then, when you see his highlights, it's mostly offensive. I thought that Kevin McHale probably couldn't have dropped, 20 to 25 points in any era, in any era. But defensively, though, could he have anchored a team's defense? First team all defense, right? Like, because you got to remember the run that Anthony Davis was on. If not for his injuries, he probably ends up becoming one of the greatest big men of all time. If not for his injuries. And the fact that he's been able to have kind of a reemergence within his career since coming to the Los Angeles Lakers, got on that LeBron James, workout routine, dedication to the game, and learning the ins and outs of how to maintain your body. Anthony Davis would have been up there with Tim Duncan. He might have been in the GOAT race. Because the thing is about Tim Duncan, he was an amazing player what he did on both ends. First team all defense MVP while being a top scorer, leading a team to 50 plus wins for 20 straight years. It was like what Tim Duncan did was unparalleled. But a lot of it was due to also being able to stay healthy. Same with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Health is a major factor. I think you extrapolate Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway, even Shaquille O'Neal. If guys have longer careers, right, they likely have a far resume to get closer to the top of that pantheon of all-time greats. But I think Barkley clears AD. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Now, this is the funny thing, though. Take Kevin Garnett and drop him in 2025. Let's say KG after next year. It's probably the number one pick, huh? We're probably talking about him like we talk about Zion. Franchise changing. Bigger than Cooper Flag. Bigger than Zion. And these are real conversations. And I just reminded me I got to have Amari Stoudemire on this list too. Would you put Amari Stoudemire over Ben Wallace? I don't know. I don't think he played long enough. But he definitely deserves to be here, Amari Stoudemire. Yeah, I got to throw him on here at number 54, behind Jermaine O'Neal. What about Rasheed? Would you Rasheed Wallace's career over Ben Wallace? I don't think I would put it over Ben Wallace. I might put it over Shawn Marion and Amari Stoudemire, though. He got himself a championship. Yeah. I might put Rasheed over Shawn Marion and Amari Stoudemire. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, it was the first Greek freak with better skills. Hey, you're right, bro. I get that to you 100%. 100%. Amari Stoudemire was the first Greek freak. Steve Francis. You know what, Steve Francis, I don't even think he makes... I don't know if he's even top 75. I don't know if he's top 75. Because I can't rank Steve Francis over somebody maybe like John Wall. Like Steve Francis was a monster, but I wouldn't rank him over Stephon Marbury, Spud Webb. Guys who came in the league and was just transformational. It's something to think about. It's something to really look at. But all these things factor in. Now, here's the thing that I really want to know. It's like if you drop KG in today's era. Yeah, Bernard King was a monster. Where did I have him? See, these dudes are they're harder to rank because you got to compare them. Like, would you take them over Ray Allen? Maybe. Bernard King, did he have the longevity? Alex English, right? Facts. These dudes are high. But if I were to take Amari Stoudemire, Kevin Garnett, Chris Webber, if I was to take guys that we overlook in terms of all time big men, I'm just talking about big men. Right? If I was to take a look at Patrick Ewing, all right, David Robinson, guys we just forgot about, bro. Guys that we forgot. Let's just really Jermaine O'Neal, right? If I were to take I mean, you probably, y'all forgot about Moses Malone and McAdoo. I won't go into them. But you take some of these guys and drop them into this era. Karl Malone, Barkley even. Bro, bro. Yeah, Chris Webber. I don't know if Chris Webber is Hall of Fame worthy. But it's also eras though too. Because if you drop Webber in today's era in 2025, where you get by with a 6'10", and he was out there 6'10", 250 pounds, grabbing rounds, taking it the full length of the court, athletic, passing the ball, shooting the ball, handling the ball. Like, people really have to understand, look, I'm not trying to say Nikola Jokic is not good. I'm not saying that. I think he's a great player, but it's contextual. I don't think Nikola Jokic at 6'11", probably with shoes. He might be 6'10" without shoes. 6'11" Nikola Jokic. I don't even know if he gets drafted, bro. I don't know if he gets drafted because you can't hide him. You can today. Nikola Jokic, he would have had to come to the league and had to chase Chris Webber up and down the court. And Jermaine O'Neal, I mean, Zach off. You could throw him out there. He would have had to run around with the Sean Kemps. You know what I mean? Like, what is he doing with those guys? Like, even guys like when I look at Nikola Jokic, I see Paul Gasol and Vlade Divac. International guy who's extremely skilled, talented, like and people think that that's a diss to Nikola Jokic to compare him to Vlade Divac and Paul Gasol. I'm like, bro, did you see those guys play? Did you ever see those guys play? Did you see them work on the court? Did you see them get that rebound, bring it up the full length of the court, boom, fake passes, drop it to the left, pull up threes, post up, both hands, jump hooks, up and unders, like they had the full package. The same thing that Nikola Jokic is doing, they were doing. Except the only difference was the competition. Like, Vlade had to go against Shaq and Robinson and Malone. Right, 6'10", 260-pound built Malone, who was still athletic, could get up and down. He had to go up against that, who still had a 7'2" Greg Ostertag next to him. You know what I mean? Like, that's a level of competition, bro. That was crazy. It was crazy. It was crazy, bro. If Horace Grant is in a draft today, he might be the number 1, number 2 pick in the. Like, people don't even consider that. That's how much talent was back then. That's how much talent was back then. Imagine if Shaquille O'Neal was dropped in today's NBA with Miles Turner. Miles Turner had to check him. Bro, what are we talking about? Isaiah Hartenstein? You know who Isaiah Hartenstein? He's not even Brad Miller from back in the day. Played with the Bulls, I think it was. Then he went over to the Sacramento Kings. Not even Brad Miller, bro. Right? Like, that's how much depth was back in the day. So when I'm looking at different eras and I'm comparing, like, AD, because there is something that you can't teach about the intangibles. Something that you just can't teach about that. You can try whatever you want, skills, you can develop all the skills you want. If you don't have that athletic pop, this is the NBA, bro. It's the NBA. Fact. He'd be the best point guard in the game today. Thomas Webber. Facts. Don't get me started on guys like J at 6'9", Dr. J at 6'9", 6'10". People talking about Steph and Curry. Look, and I'm like, I don't even want to go into Steph. I love Steph. I love Steph to death. My thing is just line them up. Line them up. All the all-time greats. Make them 19 years old again. 20 years old. Let's say even 20. Help other guys out who came out upperclassmen. 19, 20, 21 year old. Whatever age. Right? Right in that little drafting range. And line them up. You got Dr. J. You got Wilt Chamberlain. You got Bill Russell and Lou Alcindor. He later became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You have Michael Jordan. You got LeBron James. You got Kevin Durant. You got Garnett, Amari Stoudemire. You got Iverson. You got Giannis. You got Malone. You got, David Robinson. You got all these dudes. D Wade, Patrick Ewing, Isaiah Thomas, right? All of them. And somebody tells you, all right, you're going to start a league and you just draft. You just draft straight up. You just draft. Scottie Pippen, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Tim Duncan, right? Oscar Robinson, McAdoo, right? Kobe, Baylor, Wes, Dirk. You got all these guys. You could pick. How long does it take for you to get to Nikola Jokic? Remember, they're all 19 to 21 years old. Line them up. Put them up against the wall, and you're picking. How long does it take you to get to Nikola Jokic? Remember, he's got to guard those guys. How long does it take you, bro? How long? That's what I mean when I start comparing these different talents and I start ranking them. Some of y'all get enamored with what they're doing now, and I'm like, hey, it's cool, man, but like, you know, they can't erase what we were. If you ever seen Above the Rim, they can't erase what we were, Shep. They can't erase what we were. That was Bernie Mac. All right, the one and only R.I.P. So I mean, you know, let me just leave it to you there. You know what I mean? Like when I'm comparing man, when I'm comparing these players, you gotta bring something that could offset. Like even if you look at Dirk, Dirk was athletic, bro. He was spry. He was spry when he got drafted. He was up and down the court. You couldn't see the league if you weren't a great athlete. You know what I mean? And if you weren't a great athlete, you had brute strength. Like you had dummy strength. Moses Malone, Zebo. These dudes were just massive. They could move you. You know what I mean? And there's nothing you could do with them. Shoot, if I was just line up all the like, how long would it take you to get to Steph? And Steph is the all-time greatest shooter. You know what I mean? But if you're picking like, I can't rank Steph over D Wade. I just can't. Isaiah Thomas, who got 2 rings in the midst of the Magic and Bird era, and Dr. J. Come on, bro. Come on. Didn't have an all-star with him. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? But as always, let me know what you think in the comment section, man. I'm going to hop up out of here. I got to grab this laundry. Uh, got a little work to do before the night ends. But, yeah, I'm going to get at y'all later. It's your man, 100 Grand, Ross with The Rock Never Stops. Smash the like button, subscribe, and the bell for notifications. I'm going to get at y'all next time. Peace.